So today we're going to talk about the basic setups of your camera settings and, microphone and some light settings for doing a YouTube channel. So these are like some of the basic things, and it's not expensive to get into to do these things. There is one expense, and that is your main camera. So there's two options out there really. One is you can buy the new iPhone, or the newer, phone cameras that have, tons of pixels, a decent lens. They're really, really good to shoot with. But again, you're going to spend, probably $1,000 on this new camera. Or you can buy one of these. And I like this as an option. This is the Sony ZV-1F. And the reason why I like it is it has a nice pop-out screen. So let me turn it on real quick and take the cover off. So the reason why I like the pop-out screen, of course, is when you're doing vlogging or you're setting this thing up on a tripod, you can see exactly how much you're in the frame. The issue with the 1F version of this is a fixed lens. There's no focus points or anything. It's not a big issue for me because I can just move the camera closer to me when I need to get a closer shot. And because it's got a nice lens, a full screen lens on it, the camera microphone is at a good distance for me. So it's usually within 2 feet from my face, and it gets a good recording sound from that. So that's why I like the Sony ZV-1F. And I'm not sponsored by these people or anything, but just a good camera. It's 4K, and the reason why you need a 4K camera is when you are taking a shot and then you go into editing later, your shot may be, this big, and then when you go to edit the shot down, you may need to shoot it down to this, or you may need to zoom into something. So when you have a 4K shot and you zoom into an item, that's this big, you're still getting a 1080p shot from that zoom in zone. So that's why you really need a 4K camera when you're, doing a YouTube channel style, because there's times when you need to zoom in or you need to cut in, and a 4K camera is going to save you a lot of trouble in the long run. So another thing is this. These cost, this one right here I bought, it was $15, so they're not that expensive. But what this is let me turn it on over here. It's a light, and it's very, very bright, and you can see how bright it gets, shining it at the camera. And you can turn tone to different tones, for skin tone or other types of tones on the side. And as you can see, this thing can get really, really bright. And I'll turn the other tone color so you can see the tone color is changing. Then we dull it down a ton, and you can see I can warm up my face, or and it just depends on where this thing is aiming at. So I can warm up the tones from this. Just a nice light to have when you need a little bit of extra light on a shot. It's charging by USB-C. Like I said, $15. I like it because it's got a cold shoe on it, and it's got, the little tripod screw on the bottom too. I don't know how they can sell these things for $15, but they do. So I really, really like that. Now on my camera, I bought one item that it really, really needed. So these cameras, these point and shoots are really small, and I got big hands. So, they're really small. I got big hands. I need something to make it a little more bulkier. And I bought this little attachment on the bottom. It's just a steel attachment. I think it's aluminum actually, and it screws to the bottom of your camera to make your camera a little more bulky. It also does a couple purposes for that. It gives you a slide-on shoe for your tripods, so you can do a quick release. I really like that. It also gives me a separate option to put another cold shoe on. So you can see right there, I added a cold shoe on the side. So you can see the camera's here, and there's my extra cold shoe right there. my factory cold shoe is on the top, and that's where I got the microphone mounted at, and the cold shoe that's on the side here, I can throw that on, so I can mount this on a tripod. I can have an extra light. I can tone it down to the level I need it to, and I got my main microphone on here. And of course you can do other microphones too, so it has other options, but this is just a good setup for, you know, getting good shots. Now, there's another thing about cameras and YouTubing and just cameras in general. These cameras are so small and they have a million buttons all over them. You can see all the buttons everywhere, and you got to be very careful about this. So when you turn your camera on, make sure your fingers are away from the touch screen, away from any of the little toggles on the back. So make sure your fingers are away from everything before you turn it on. And the second you turn it on, don't touch anything, because you're going to hit a button and you're going to change your configurations, and maybe you had this thing set up perfectly for your channel and you bumped a button and now your configurations are changed. You know, it's a different mode. Maybe it's on, like there's a mode I can set this to for if I'm showcasing items. It'll focus in real close and focus out really quick. And for my shooting, I don't need a showcase option, but you know, you touch a little button and now it's on showcase mode, and now your focus is going in and out while you're trying to shoot a video, and it's ruining your entire shot. So set everything up the way you feel like you want most of your shots set up, and then just be careful. Don't touch, you know, once you turn on the camera, don't touch any of the touch screens, don't touch any of the buttons, because it's going to make you so mad when you know, hit a button and you do your shot and now the camera's acting all funky on you. So just be very careful the second you turn these cameras on. Don't put your fingers, you know, I got big old thumbs, but don't put them on any of the buttons. Be very careful on that. And that's pretty much it for, you know, just basic knowledge of, you know, a decent camera, a decent microphone. The one I have on here is the Rode. It's a lower one. It doesn't have a separate power source, so it just plugs right in. There's no power to it. It seems like a pretty good microphone to use. I want to say, again, you know, it's pretty decent, like 30 bucks, 35 bucks. So not an expensive microphone, but again, it's not a cheap microphone. I have a cheap microphone. I don't have it around, but that thing, of course, was garbage. I think I might have even thrown it away. So just buy a decent microphone to begin with, and this one was a pretty decent microphone to begin with. You can see the backside of it. So good microphone. Not too expensive, but again, it's not one of those $12 microphones either, those garbage things. So that's pretty much it for this episode. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, because you all make it happen. And we'll see you next episode.